Yo, what's up guys, Insane Gamefreak here to bring you another anime review. And this particular anime has three things that you always love in anime. It has the principal's daughter, chickens, and cross-dressers. Mayo Chiki. Let's get into it. If you're pretty familiar with me, you know, especially with my second channel, you know I love this show. But you know, I have to get away from my fanboy side and view this objectively, because objectively, this is a solid show, but nothing really spectacular or amazing. Now, to really blend in those three things, the premise is simple. Well, it's not even simple. It's actually pretty. It's like a simple premise, but it's convoluted in its own right. The three main characters you need to really concern yourself with, at least for the premise goes, is Kanade Suzuki, which is the principal's daughter, Sakamachi Kinjiro, which is your male lead for this harem, ecchi, romance, comedy, slice of life, whatever you want to call it, and Konoe Subaru, which is your butler. Now, Konoe is the butler of Kanade because she's the rich principal's daughter and she gets everything she wants. Kinjiro doesn't really talk to them. The whole thing is that Kinjiro is kind of weird in his own right, because his father is dead and his mother is traveling the world, so he lives with his sister. No incest here. No incest here. Just don't worry, guys. Calm down. No incest. But he lives with his sister, and he has this really weird quirk of his. He has the tendency to start bleeding out of his nose, or just straight out pass out if he ends up in any contact with a girl. That means touching, poking. He cannot touch anything of a girl. He can't touch a girl in general without like either nose bleeding or passing out. And this is due to his family history. His mother is a wrestler, and his sister likes to emulate his mother. And Kinjiro was beaten up by his sister and his mother during his childhood. And the bleeding thing has come as a reflex, because when he was bleeding, they would stop beating him. And no, it's not because, you know, they cared about his well-being. It's because the floors wouldn't get dirty. You gotta love that anime parenting. Yay! The funny thing is that I've seen worse. But anyways, so that's his whole problem. But that also leads to him to having a lot of rumors spread about him, thinking that he's gay, because a guy that doesn't want to touch girls, and no one knows the secret. You know, this isn't something he wants to be known. So everyone just assumes that he has some problems. Like, even his friends are like, "Are you gay? Is there something we need to talk about? Like, are you swinging for the other team?" So as the school starts the new year, he's kind of like, "All right, I'm going downstairs. I'm going to use like the private bathroom that no one uses." And he goes into that bathroom only to find Konoe. Now, Konoe is the dude, well, let's just say when he opens up the bathroom stall to find Konoe in the bathroom stall, Konoe is not considered a dude to him anymore. No, actually, I take that back, because his first reaction is that Konoe is a cross-dresser. Like, he's a guy cross-dressing as a girl, when it's actually the opposite. He's a girl cross-dressing as a guy. Yes, Konoe is actually our female lead for this particular harem. Konoe apparently cross-dresses as a male butler. No one knows that she's a girl. But, you know, Jiro, which is Kinjiro, I'm just calling him Jiro because that's what everyone else calls him in the anime, he accidentally finds this out. Also, just on a, you know, just insult to injury, Kinjiro's name, if you say the full thing out, like Sakamachi Kinjiro, you can get chicken if you combine his two names. So he's randomly called Chicken, and he's called a chicken throughout the series on top of the whole thing with girls. So that's just insult to injury right there. Anyways, he accidentally finds out that Konoe is a girl, and on top of that, Kanade is aware that she's cross-dressing. For some reason, I'm not going to tell you, but it does get explained in the anime. It actually gets explained like within the first episode. But it's delved in deeper too throughout the series, and it goes a lot into her character, her family, and essentially her backstory and kind of some of her tendencies in general. But the whole point of it is this. Kanade also finds out Jiro's little, issue with women because she's a girl, and one thing leads to another, and secret revealed. So pretty much the basic of the story is this. Kanade promises to help Jiro with his girl problem if Jiro promises not to say anything about Subaru being a girl. So that's how really the anime series progresses. Now, I will say that by the end of the series, he's a lot better with women than he used to be. But then again, this is a harem, so he kind of had to be just for the sake of the comedy. Mind you, and ironically, a lot of the comedy is not really based around him passing out. And I think the reason why I enjoy the show so much is purely because Konoe is such a good female lead to me. Like, I enjoyed her so much as I was watching this. Because not only, let's put it this way, she does a few things that throw me off completely. The first thing is she's a lot blonder than I expected her to be. She has so many cute moments in here. Like, I swear, it's like, I would love to see girls' reactions to some of the things she does, because it's like the squee, I don't know how anime fangirls act. Come on, just work with me here. Come on. Jiro's a pretty solid main lead, and he also has another secondary good ability, I guess is what you could call it, because he was beaten up so much as a child. He has like an incredible resistance to violence. Like, Jiro can take a lot of punishment before actually getting knocked out, which kind of makes it even funnier that, you could take all this physical damage, but if a girl touches you for more than like 5 seconds, you're just out. Now, there are a couple side characters. Man, as I said, I mentioned Jiro's sister, Kureha, who is actually pretty prevalent in the anime purely because of misunderstandings, which is a lot of the series' jokes. Like, a lot of the jokes in this series are really based around, like, oh, well, like there are characters who kind of accidentally find out side things, or there are random assumptions made, and a lot of things don't make sense. Like, Kureha has seen Subaru dressed up as a girl and still believes that she's a boy cross-dressing as a girl. And on top of which, she has a crush on the guy that's cross-dressing as a girl, at least in her mind. So technically, and I love that, because it's like, Jiro's reaction is just kind of like, it's like, I'm sorry, Dad. Your daughter has fallen in love with another woman. Which I thought was ridiculous. I mean, and here's the other thing. It's a harem, but there's really, to me, there's only really like 2 main love interests, and it's Konoe and Usami. Usami is another Subaru admirer, but for a different reason, and I like their character for it. Nakaru is the other person you'll meet, which is the cat girl that you randomly see in this series. The only thing I'm going to say about her is that she is a yaoi fangirl and a glasses maniac. And because Konoe and, Jiro become friends, if his life wasn't hard enough, he now has Subaru's fangirls randomly attacking him in the anime, which I thought was just hilarious. Like, there are just random points where he's just like one chick comes up behind him with a freaking fire extinguisher, and you're just kind of like, wow. So this is what fangirls are like. And what's even funnier is that group kind of split up, so there's like this subdivision that's okay with him being friends with her, because they're yaoi fangirls. And Nakaru's actually a part of that club, and that's why it's pretty funny. Like, I was like, well, I guess we're going to throw the fangirls a little bit more of a bone here, even though none of them really stick out except for Usami. And the only thing I'm going to say about Usami is that, oh, look, there's another tsundere type chick, but on top of that, they're making the whole Usami is Usagi. And for those who don't understand that joke, it's like, Usagi is the Japanese word for rabbit. So it's like, if you know that I'm a fan of skit dance, you know that, there's a character named Usami in there. So it's like, oh, another bunny joke. I mean, I'm just messing around, but Usami's actually a pretty deep character in her own right. And then, I like the development for those two. Get a lot of development. Nakaru doesn't really need it because she's like a yaoi fangirl. She does get her one episode at the end of the series, which is one of the complaints about this series. The first thing is really the ending. It has a solid ending at 12, but for some reason, episode 13 just comes off as an OVA, and I was kind of like, shouldn't this have been like somewhere in the middle? Because they start doing episodes like that anyway. The other problem is that this anime isn't as enjoyable when you take out the lead characters. Like, for example, I think episodes 8 and 9 don't feature Jiro and Konoe as much, and are based around, I think, Kureha and Nakaru. And it's not, Kureha and Usami. And mind you, Asami's cool, you know, she did a pretty good job. I cannot stand watching an episode without Jiro Konoe in it, which is the other problem. Like, the show feels weak, really weak, because Kanade is kind of represented as like a troll throughout the series, but at the same time, she still has like her moments. She gets a few episodes dedicated to her because she kind of likes Jiro, but it's kind of painfully obvious. This is one of those animes that has that same style that I hate, which is that, you know, it's a harem, but not really, because there's really only main one girl for him. In terms of Jiro being like that dense main character, you can't he doesn't have enough. I'm not gonna say he doesn't have enough time to be dense, but he never crosses that line, like where he's just straight out annoying because he's stupid. Like, they don't. It's funny enough, even though a lot of the jokes in the series is based on misunderstandings, Jiro doesn't have that many, if any. He has like a few, and you know, it doesn't really ruin his character at all. And I like the fact that he was one of those characters. He was like, you see random flashbacks to his dad, and you get to see some of his inspiration and why he acts a certain way he does. I like that. But as I said, in terms of, it doesn't really do anything too different from the mold of harems that are similar to this, except for its gimmick, you know. It's not necessarily a harem that's amazing. I really enjoyed it because I really liked the character dynamic. Mind you, I guess when I say that, I'm really technically saying I only really liked it. I really enjoyed it because Konoe and Jiro work so well together. Where, like, Kureha's okay. Usami's actually pretty solid, but Nakaru's kind of there for comedy. And Kanade's there for comedy, too. Like, you have 2 comedy-ish characters and like 3-ish serious characters, and then a little sister character who's just kind of like blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. It really just depends. I mean, since Filmworks has just released the DVD, technically as I'm recording this, it hasn't come out yet, but you can check it out for yourself. It's only 13 episodes. I think this was like $30 because it's only sub only. They didn't put a dub on it. I really did want to have a dub, but you know, it's still soft for what it is. I say check it out because I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the connection for those 2 characters, and I really enjoyed like Konoe's development. Konoe to me is a really well developed female lead, and I'm spazzing. and just to show a testament of how much I've enjoyed Mayo Chiki, I've watched it about 9 times. I'm not even joking. Like, when it was first airing, I would rewatch episodes. So, you know, as a whole, I've technically rewatched the entire series like 9 times. Mind you, you can make the argument that, because the thing is, the majority of the series is awesome. I think the weakest episodes are really the episodes that aren't around, like Jiro or Konoe. Because the Usami episode in his right is good, but, well, no, because the Usami episode has Jiro in it. It just doesn't have Konoe in it. That's the only problem with it. But overall, Mayo Chiki is a really fun, solid, enjoyable harem. I say check it out. Let's put it this way. If you don't like Konoe or Jiro by episode like 4, drop it. Because they're the ones that you really got to care for. Mind you, the other characters make their own, you know, have their own points, especially Usami. Because Usami's kind of like, she's well developed, but I could kind of work with her. I don't know. See, as I said, I'm fighting my fanboy here. He's like, you should recommend this to, like, it's like he's telling me I haven't recommended this enough to you. But anyways, I'm rambling now, so please tell me what you guys think. If you've seen the show, I will leave a link in the description to get it. And I don't think it had illegal streaming, which is the problem why a lot of people missed it. But check it out. Get the DVDs. Gender cross-dressing chicken maids butler blah for the win. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a game, play to win, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.